I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
Hi there, Loy Machedo. Speaking to you from loymachedo.com. Who is Loy Machedo and Think Personal Branding? All right, this is going to be episode 3 of Ask Me Anything. I had invited questions from my viewers and followers of YouTube to ask me any question that they would like. So this is episode 3. The goal is to finish off all the questions, bits and pieces. So I would normally answer the questions, roughly in an hour, 1 hour, whatever comes, and then wrap up the session. And then the next batch of questions I'll take on next. Okay. So this is episode 3. For those of you who'd like to support the channel or like to give me a thank you, you can either like the video, you can obviously comment, or you can share it with anyone. And for those of you who'd like to support financially, you can give the donation. The details are put down below. But most important is the engagement. Most important is your interaction with me. So I value that much more. Okay. So having said that, let's move on to the questions. This is a question. Okay. One last thing. The description is put down below, timestamp, so you can check which question you would like. So let's not waste any more time. This question is by Nikhil. Nikhil asks, Loy, how do you overcome timidness and gullibility? Okay, timidness is, definition is showing a lack of courage or confidence. So if you lack courage and if you lack confidence, so he's asking, how do you overcome this? Confidence is by practicing and doing new things. When you're young, obviously, you don't have the courage, you don't have the experience, you don't have the confidence because you have not seen much of life. So always do things, small things, and obviously you get more and more courage to try new things. So let's say, for example, you do not know how to fight. Obviously, if, you'd always be scared. But then if you go to a MMA coach or MMA class or boxing or some physical sport where they teach you how to punch and also get punched in the face, initially you'll be scared, but after some time you lose the fear. So it's practice makes perfect. But the quote that I believe in is perfect practice makes perfect. Okay, so you practice as if you're actually doing it that day. So that is confidence. Courage, well, you get courage by trying new things, small risks. I was not born with all the courage in the world. I obviously had the fear factor. And with regards to courage, or guts, as some people call it, you need to know where to use your courage and how to use your courage. For example, getting into a gang fight is not courageous. I consider that stupidity. Okay, you need to know where to fight, who to fight with, and when to fight. Okay, so courage, it's different definitions, but I would say if you're talking of courage, adapting it in your life, just keep in mind that you should have the wisdom to know when and where to use it. So courage, if other words, how to live life and succeed, that you only get by making mistakes, which you get only through experience. Then gullibility is people trying to fool you. Well, that also is experience. It's not that today I am foolproof. I still have made mistakes. In fact, the biggest mistake that I made was just a few months ago. That was when I was selecting the girl to get married, and she cheated me of 100,000. Okay, even with all my experience, even with all the maturity, I fell for the emotional factor. I trusted her because she tattooed my name, Loy Machedo, on her chest. And obviously the logic was, which girl would do that? And we stayed together. We had chatted with each other for months. She stayed with me for almost, I think, a month and a half. So when it came to the question of marriage, which I had spoken to her family, spoken means chatted with them. So I thought everything was, perfect. But then she took the money and ran off to her ex-husband, and her family blocked me. So like I say, you learn. So gullibility, it comes only with experience. Okay. And if you want to know how did I overcome mistakes and problems and challenges, I would say just Google search 2011 Loy Machedo suicide. You'd see how I overcame the biggest challenge of my life. Okay. Next question by Nikhil is, what are the skill sets or mindset or attitude required to succeed in the corporate world? Hmm. See, this is a very vast question, because you have, in the corporate world, it's not just skill, it's not just ability to show results. It's also, how do you get along with other people? How do you handle office politics? How do you handle asshole of a boss? How do you handle when factors you cannot control? So there are too many to name. But if you were to ask me, the most important skill set in the corporate world is learning how to manage office politics. Because if you can manage and play around with office politics, or you know how to use it to your benefit, I'll tell you, you can succeed just about anywhere. So if you were to ask me, it would come down to office politics. And how do you get into office politics, or how do you sharpen that skill? Once again, experience. So Nikhil, I hope this answers your question. Next one is by Murtuza or Taz, aged 36. Okay, so I don't know who's this, but anyway, Murtuza or Taz, aged 36. He asks, can the UAE's economy improve post Expo 2020? UAE, like any other country, wants its best for itself and for its citizens. Okay, so no matter how bad the situation, they would always want to improve. Just as you want a better life, you do whatever it takes to improve your life, whether it's the perfect time or whether the country is in recession. In the same way, the country will also do whatever it takes to succeed and survive. And I believe they have the leadership, they have the talent, they have the skill. It's only the question, do they get this all together, or do they implement foolish policies, wrong policies, especially like, giving more importance to Emiratis, giving them higher salaries, then taking loans, bragging and showing off. This doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And it shows. It shows with how the economy is right now. So if you're asking, can the UAE economy improve? Absolutely. The UAE economy can improve. Will it improve is a big question. Okay, that's to be seen by what policies they bring forth. Then, is there any real security threat to Expo 2020? There's always a threat. There's always a threat, especially when you are in the Middle East region, especially when you have involved yourself in a war. UAE, that never got involved in any war, joined Saudi to fight in Yemen, which they shouldn't have. And now what they've done is they have invited the wrath of a group of people, a group from Yemen, who openly threatened UAE on Twitter. You can just Google search on Twitter, UAE Houthis bomb, or something like, because they had put, I'll see if I can I'll put a screenshot up here somewhere. They had put that they would bomb the skyscrapers of UAE. So there's always a security threat to any country in the world, especially one that has massive amounts of publicity. Because what is the best way to get your message out in the world is to do something where all the cameras and all the attention is there. Obviously, if there's a country that nobody's interested, or no crowd is there, nobody's going to hatch a bomb or kill anyone there. They would always do it in a public place where you get all the maximum publicity, so you get the message across. Okay, so is that a real security threat? There is. But having said that, UAE is doing everything in its power to make sure that these threats are negated. Last question by Murtuza, Taz 36. He says, if your daughter asks you to remove your tattoos when you grow up, when I grow up, I mean when she grows up, I'm already grown up. So if your daughter asks you to remove your tattoo when she grows up, will you do so? First and foremost, I would tell my daughter what I tell anyone: fuck off. So that would be my immediate answer. But then, I mean, logically, if you look at it, when my daughter is in her 20s, let's assume she's in her 20s, and she says, Dad, can you take out your tattoos? So when she's 20, I'll be in my 60s. So I would just tell her, fine, just put 1 million in the bank, $1 million US. I'll go to one of the best tattoo removal artist or clinic, and I'll get it removed. So if she can give me $1 million US, I might consider that at the age of 60. Okay. However, at the age of 20, logically speaking, she wouldn't have the money. So maybe when she is 30. So when she's 30, I would be 70 years old. My skin would be all crumpled up and all that. So, so I doubt my daughter would ask me to remove. But if she does, I would say, fine, just give me $1 million US. I'll go comfortably to whichever place and get it removed. So that's what I would say. However, if my daughter asked me when I'm young, I would say, first earn some money, give me 1 million, and then I'll do it. So it's as simple. Money talks, bullshit walks. So I hope this answers your question. Okay. But having said that, this is FYI, just for you to know, I was offered half a million dirhams. That is, I think, roughly 270,000 US. I think I'll give you the right currency exchange. I was offered this by a really rich Muslim Arab. He offered this to me to not only remove my tattoos, but to work with him. He would also pay me much more, plus a salary, plus the visa, plus everything. That is when I wanted to get a visa. But one of the catches was I would have to convert to Islam, embrace the true religion after I removed the tattoos. So, see, the thing is, as you grow older, it's not just a question of money. It's a question of, are you happy? So even though, let's say, $1 million would keep me happy, but it would make me miserable, so no point in that. So anyway, this I just thought I'd let you know. And for those of you that say this is fake, you can check my Facebook timeline. I do not know the exact date when I had put this, but people know because I had made this very public. Okay, this is when I was in Dubai, just I think a year before leaving, few months before leaving. Okay, next one is Bitcomlick. Okay, Bitcoin or Bitcomlick, Pranav 29. So he says, how many girls have you hooked in total? I think hooked over here, you mean slept or had sex with. I kept a count those days because, my low self-esteem and the want to show value. Oh, I can get this girl, that girl. And I would say, okay, this is my 4th girlfriend, the 5th girlfriend, or 20th girlfriend. So I used to keep a black book, a diary where I'd written down the girl and I'd written down just brief what I'd done with her. I know, kind of crazy. I would say at some point I stopped putting those entries, and then eventually, sadly, I lost the book. I don't know where the fuck I kept it. I would say 300, and it's not a big deal. There are people who I know who are rich, single. They sleep with a girl every single day. They sleep with a new girl every single day. They have the money, and the girls come, and they live in countries where girls don't mind sleeping. So 300 may look like a very big deal, but if you factor in a guy who has enough money and he can sleep with a girl every single day, I mean, there are celebrity stars who have slept with more than 5,000-6,000 girls. So I don't know. Some people say, "Oh, you're bullshitting. This is impossible." Well, 300 is my number, and now it is stopped because now I'm just focused on family. That's it. No time for all this here. 5 minutes. Just tell my wife we have sex. 5 minutes, finished. It's done deal. So my wife also knows how to make sure her man stays faithful. Anyway, this you'll realize when you get older. Next question. Would you be thankful to be born in the best country, India, and just have lived like a dog after living it? Well, first and foremost, I do not like the way you've worded a question. It's like me saying, Pranav, the way you have worded this question, it's like me asking, Pranav, like a dog, let me ask you this question. Either your father has your father taught you any manners, or are you an uneducated idiot who doesn't know how to word questions properly? So do you see the tone of the question that I put forward to you? Pranav, like a dog, let me ask you a question. So this clearly shows lack of respect, and it shows a rather condescending attitude in the question. So I'll answer your question, since anyway, I did promise everyone I'll answer the question. So would you ever be thankful to be born in a country like India? See, I was just born in India. I don't remember anything. It's like me asking in the exact tone of how you ask me. It's like me asking you, would you be thankful to be, or would you be grateful of being conceived or created in your father's hairy ball sack, where you spent comfortably for months and months? Would you be thankful to, being ejected from your father's black sausage into your mother's vagina, where in a womb you stayed for 9 months? Are you thankful to that? Do you show gratitude to your mother's womb, her internal organs, especially your vagina through which you came out? So, would you be grateful? Would you be thankful? Are you worshipping and thanking their genitals? No, you're not, because you don't remember anything as a baby. You remember once you grew up, once you became a child that had its the ability to think with the memories, then you started, okay, at a certain age, oh, I'm so grateful. I remember school days. I remember my growing up phase. I remember the college days. And that is where you'd be grateful. So the time where you are in your father's ball sack to his penis to your mother's vagina, you don't remember all that. And then you don't remember being put out from your mother's vagina into the hospital bed. You don't remember anything. So would you be grateful to all of them? No, you're not grateful. But after that, once you started having memories, is where you started to be grateful. So in the same way, me, when I was born in the hospital, I don't remember anything. As a baby, I don't remember anything. Where do I remember is only when school memories, and very faintly, I remember school memories like KG, but all those memories were not in India. All those memories were in UAE. So I do not remember anything about India, the 1 year that I spent there, or 2 years, or whatever, or 3 years, whatever. I don't remember anything. So I'm not grateful. I'm not thankful. Okay. Then am I grateful and thankful for having an Indian passport? I don't know. It's just a booklet. I've not got any special status by having that passport. It's not like if I go to United States, visa on arrival. It's not like I go to any other country, visa on arrival. There are so many countries that ask me to produce, to show money in the bank, to show my revenue earning capacity, and only then they give me a visa. So I am less thankful to the passport and the identity, and more grateful to the ability of mine to make money. And just as having lived like a dog. Now, I do not know from where you get that idea that I live like a dog. I live very happy. In fact, I don't mean to rub it into your face, but I suspect that I earn much more than you. I'm much more happier than you. I work even more lesser number of hours than you. I have a lovely wife. I have a beautiful family. Like right now, it's 7:56. It's in the evening. I'm relaxing. I'm just shooting a video. I doubt you can do all that. So it's not me who's living like a dog. It's actually you, because you need to work. You are a freeloader. You're asking me questions for free. So, and yes, if you are so proud about India, I would just recommend you just search online and see the atrocities that are taking place right now with the Modi government, with the Hindu Muslim chaos that's taking place, with the rape, sickness that is there. So I think you need to look at all this and ask, is this something to be proud of, or are these issues you need to focus on? So something for you to think, my dear friend. Okay. And last and not the least, Pranav29 Bitcomlick, he asks, why don't you make stories against atheism? Well, it's the same reason why you don't make videos against your Hindu gods, because you know it doesn't serve any purpose, it doesn't serve your interest, and your target audience is not interested. So, with regards to atheism, atheism is a lack of belief. I don't believe anything. So, it's like me asking, why don't you make videos against tooth fairies? Why don't you make videos against unicorns? Why don't you make videos against, let's say, eating French fries? You'd not make it because you're not interested in. Nobody knows is interested. So in the same way, none of my target audience is interested in my lack of religious views. So I don't see any purpose in having this. So, like I say, why don't you, being a Hindu, why don't you make some videos against Hinduism and send it across to me. I maybe look into it. So when you don't want to do that, why should I? Anyway, next one, a question by Raman. Raman asks, Raman or Raman? Okay, oh, I don't mind. Just, I don't know, Raman. Okay. Okay, he says, despite getting a less number of views on your videos, what keeps you motivated more and more? Now, it all depends on perspective. Who are you comparing it to? If you're comparing it to the stalwarts like PewDiePie, who has, he can put a video in 1 hour, he'll get 1 million views, PewDiePie. Okay. So if you compare it to him, yes, I have terrible amount of views. But if I look at my views from last year, or when I started off, I used to get 2 views, 3 views. Last year, I was getting an average of 300 views. Now I'm getting an average of 1,000, 2,000 views. So when I compare it, it all depends on what context. Contextually, on what basis do you have your question? So when I look at it as a matter of progress, I'm proud of the achievements, because without spending a single penny on ads, I have organically made this channel grow. Now, coming to less number of views, like you said, less number of views, what keeps you motivated? Now, it depends. The answer is very simple. Anything that you do, it depends what drives you, what gives you the motivation. In my case, the number of views doesn't actually motivate me. Yes, it is one of the motivating factors, but it's not the motivating factors. I got onto YouTube 11 years ago, and I was just randomly posting videos. I never bothered. You might find this surprising, but I never actually bothered to see how many views, because I knew that I would just get 50 views or 100 views. So nobody was interested. So I knew nobody was interested. Well, I just didn't care. And maybe 5 or 10 people would watch the videos and they would argue with me. So it was just done for fun. Okay. And even if, let me tell you, even if nobody would watch my videos, I would still create videos because I like communicating. You see, I don't have friends. I don't keep friends. I don't go out. I don't have any way to speak. The only person I can speak to is my wife. But then again, there are limitations because she's a very simple girl. And, there are so many limited things that can be spoken to. Like, I can't speak to her on personal branding. I cannot speak to her on, I read this book. I just can't. And obviously, she's busy doing her things. So I needed an outlet. And people used to get bugged and irritated by me talking so much and asking so many questions. So the only outlet that I had was YouTube. And that's how I did it. So it's my driving force. One of the driving forces, one among many, has been views. Yes, I'll not disagree. I do check, okay, I got 10,000 views or 6,000 views. It feels good. But more than that is I do it because I love what I do. But now it's more like my work. It's actually like going to the office. It's my daily bread and butter. It's bringing me revenue through my work. So this is what drives me. And just to make you understand, having more subscribers is good, but I don't make money through subscribers. I make money through my clients, and they pay me a really big sum of money, really big sum for my time. I respect that. I never discount the fact that a person is paying me $167 per hour. I never discount that because I remember my poverty. I remember I came from a very poor background. I remember 2011, I was penniless. So I never forgot my roots. I never forgot that I was a boy who was born in a village who used to eat rice with his hands and a little bit of dry fish with chutney. So I've never forgotten those memories. Okay. So I'm very grounded there. So that is why I respect the amount. And that's why I say it's a large amount. So maybe for a millionaire, it's $167 an hour is nothing big. But for me, it feeds me and my family. And because I keep my expenses low, I earn in dollars, I spend in baht. So that is what keeps me motivated. So I hope you understand. And the very fact that I can do what I love and earn money is the greatest motivation in the world. Okay. So good question, by the way, Raman. So the next one is Raman asks, why don't you feel little lonely in Thailand as I hardly see your friends? I've always been like this. I mean, when I was small, my mother my mother used to lock me up in the house. My stepfather used to never communicate with me, so I was always locked up in the house as a child. There were only few people down my building, the colony where I stayed. There were very few people. It was Al Butina and Sharjah. That's where I spent, I think, the major part of my childhood. And then we moved to, I think, Rolla Square. There also, I never had many friends. So I was always born and raised in an environment where there were very less friends. In school, nobody wanted to play with me because I was not popular. I didn't have the basketball. I didn't have the basketball shoes. Football, I used to just play here and there, but nobody wanted to be with me because I was not the popular kid. I never had support from my parents. I never had cool toys and gadgets. So I was always alone. And yes, I did like girls. And that's the way I used to have my sense of validation. Girls used to like me more. So because I never had friends, I got used to it. And even when I was in a group, people didn't like me much because I would talk a lot. I'm very talkative those days. And I used to be very aggressive. I always liked the attention. I was very controversial. So not many people liked me. So as I grew older, I kind of knew that. And that became a part of my personality where I knew that I wouldn't have many friends. I knew that people wouldn't like me eventually. It became kind of a repetitive model in my life, a story that would repeat itself. People would get, get close to me, and then eventually they wouldn't like me very much. They wouldn't want to hang around with me. So I knew that was my reality, and I accepted that. Today, at the age of 40, and especially for married people, once after you get married and you're really a responsible person, you don't have time for friends. You just don't have time. You get up, go to the office, you make your money, you want to earn money. Then when you finish work, you want, okay, a little bit of family time. And after you finish that, you want private time. So the question is, where do you factor in friends? So that is why after people get married and they have children, they seldom socialize. And socializing also becomes a very rare thing. In my case, I don't like interacting with people. I just don't like it. I just do what is required. And the only other way I did manage to control my attention seeking habit that I had was I would do these big shows, big events where I would MC and anchor these shows, large crowds. I used to DJ also those days, large crowds, 1,000, 2,000, whatever the number of people. After you finish that, you get so burnt out, you don't want to meet anyone. So today, I'm very happy without friends. I'm just used to it. With my wife and my baby, that's enough. We go shopping, say hi, hello, other people. Then when I'm at home, I play with my Switch, I play with my PC, I do my research, I upload videos. There's enough and more to do. Emails, WhatsApp messages, my groups, WhatsApp group, Facebook groups. And yes, the best among all is making money doing what I love. That is being an online consultant, personal branding strategist, and helping people get jobs. So it's enough on my plate. I don't have time for friends. Hope this answers your question, Raman. By the way, good questions, Raman. Next one. This is a question by Bubai. Not Dubai, Bubai. Okay. I don't know if it's a real name or fake name. Okay. Question is, I want to marry a girl. Okay. I want to marry a girl. Go and get married. Okay. I want to marry a girl who knows me for the last 5 years. Okay. If you know a girl for many years, don't get married. I'll tell you, because the more you know the girl, the less the romance, the less the enjoyment, the less the thrill of the chase, my dear friend. Anyway, it's up to you. This is just my experience. I want to marry a girl who knows me for the last 5 years. Go get married. Simple. Okay, I don't know what's stopping you. What does he say? But I have two options before me. Okay, to earn money. Good. Now you're talking something important. I want to marry a girl who knows me, but before that, I want to earn money. Congrats. I like you. You need to earn money. Okay. First is to crack like an egg. Crack. C-A-T, cat. What's cat? Must be an exam. Okay. First is to crack cat and get into the top MBA college. Okay. The second option is to crack. So also again, you want to crack like an egg. Okay. First is to crack cat and get into a top MBA college. The second is to crack the government jobs in India. So both you want to crack. Okay. Which do you think is doable? You're asking me, which do I think is doable for you? So you're asking me without knowing you. I don't know you. I don't know your capacity to learn, study. I don't know your personality. I don't know how good you are. And you want me to tell you which is doable. It's like me telling you, can you lift 100 kilos or not? I don't know. Okay. So he asked, which one you think is doable and which one will attract any hot Indian girl? Wait, wait a minute. In the beginning, you said, I want to marry a girl who knows me for the last 5 years. So you have someone you love, and then at the end, you ask, which one will attract a hot, not normal, hot Indian girl? Maybe she has fever. Okay. Hot Indian girl to marry an average Indian looking guy. My dear, listen, you are a womanizer. You're just a plain, simple womanizer, like me, like I was. I was a womanizer. Your dick does the talking for you. Your dick is your head. That's why I say dick head. Okay. You like vaginas. You like pleasure. You want a hole where you can put your sausage and feel good. You want a pussycat girl whom you can show to the world she's hot. She's my girl. Why? Because you have very low sense of self-worth, which I totally understand, which is not bad, which is not wrong. Guys like to show off these hot babes are mine because they consider that as a mark of success. That's why you get all these online celebrities. Why do they have girls with beautiful, breasts, and they cover their nipples and they show their cleavage and they show their vagina, which is covered very thin. They show their ass. The girl has that only to be proud about, and the guy wants to show these females you know whom I'm shagging or who I'm showing. These are my girls. Why? Because I can afford it. These girls like the money. He likes the girls. Okay, so they feel great about themselves. They have a sense of validation now, which is okay. You make the money, you can get the girls. I'm not against it. Girls want to be shagged, you want to shag the girl wants the money, you give them the money. It's an understandable relationship. But don't factor in, oh, I like that girl for 5 years, but let me keep it as an option. Let me have other girls also. No, don't play with someone's life. You either openly show that you're a womanizer or you don't. And if you want to play double standards where you want to show the world I'm a very decent guy, but you want to shag other girls, my request is please don't play with a girl's life because she is someone's mother. She is someone's daughter. She will be the mother to your child. She is someone's sister. Just as you wouldn't want your sister, your mother, your daughter to be played around by somebody else, you don't do the same. Even when I was single, even when I was a playboy, I think more or less the girls knew that I was a playboy. I wouldn't tell them, I'm fucking you, plus I'm fucking another girl. No. They would know that I was a playboy, I was playful, and they knew that I would never promise any girl, I'll marry you, we'll have a baby together. No. I would just, let's take it as it comes. And when it became too complicated, bye-bye. I never give them fake promises. So my request is please don't play with girls' lives. And there are women who don't mind taking money and getting shagged. Find those girls. Find those girls who don't mind a little bit of money. I'll give you a good blow, good suck, good fuck, good whatever. It's an open, understandable relationships. And today, women are also educated enough and smart enough, depends where you're searching, where they wouldn't mind a no strings attached relationship. Okay. But for this to happen, for that step, many steps before that, and that many steps before that is your capacity to make money. So you came down to what is the best way to get. See, here you're asking for an MBA college. An MBA college is like having a ticket. Okay. The MBA degree is your ticket to apply for a job, to be considered as a candidate for any company or vacancy. Now you're asking whether government job or whether a multinational company. Okay. Neither of them is easy. I can assure you, and especially if you are an Indian, you're competing against a million every year. Every year, a million of them want to get in. And I think roughly maybe, I don't know the exact numbers, maybe 10,000 can get in, only 10,000. So if you're one of those 10,000 who can get in, congratulations. Now, this is my understanding, maybe I'm wrong. If you get into a government sector, yes, you will have a guaranteed job. You wouldn't have to worry. And yes, as you progress, you can take bribes and all that stuff, power play you can do. But there is no growth in the government sector. It's more or less stagnant, and it more or less depends on politics. A multinational company, on the other hand, there is variety. There is a dynamic environment. You can work anywhere and everywhere if you have the competence and if you have the intelligence. So I think it comes down to your capacity. You need to know yourself, and you need to know what is it that you want. But having said that, don't let having a vagina, means not having a vagina, means wanting a vagina, wanting to shag a girl, be your driving force for education. Okay, be your driving force for money. Girls come, girls go. You focus on first sorting your shit out. That is your education, your career, the money. That should be your immediate goal. You want to shag girls at the side, there are a lot of women who take the money, shag, give you a good shag. That's about it. Okay. And most important, remember, don't play with any girls' lives, because nowadays girls also, they're not going to keep quiet. They will fuck your happiness if they know you're playing around with them. So just be careful. That's what I would tell you. Next question by Bubai. Okay, Bubai says, do you believe only degrees from top IIT, IIMs can get me a good job at Google, Facebook as a software engineer? Or can I get those jobs through scoring well in programming competitions as well? Then he says, I already have an electronics engineering degree from a top institute in India. He has not stated which one, but I want to work as a software engineer for a FANG firm. I have no idea what the fuck is a FANG firm. How do I achieve my goals? Now, if your goal is to apply for Google or Facebook or any multinational company, I suspect, okay, because I have two friends who work there, I have not asked them. I think they do consider favorably if you have graduated from one of the top institutes in the world. Okay, the reason being is to get into the top institute in the world, you need to be one of the best, and for that you need to get, like you said, crack into the exam. And they crack the exam, and only then you get. So normally they would prefer someone from IIT, IIMs. Okay, normally. However, if you are talking of local-based institutes, you have to be absolutely the best of the best of the best with exceptional skills. Only then, because every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to work for Google or Facebook. And here's one last thing, just for you to know. Just because you'll get into Facebook or Google doesn't mean your life is going to be made. I know many people who have joined Facebook, Google, Amazon, and they ended up leaving it, okay, because it's not as great as people make it out to be. So I hope this answers your question. And listen, if you are a smart engineering graduate, I would say, and you have exceptional skills, I would say migrate abroad. Your life will be so much better, especially when you have technical skills. Okay, next one. The question is by Soham. Soham asks, what is your opinion on COVID-19 virus patients' recovery and then being tested positive once again? Well, it's as simple. If your immune system is weak, you're fucked. If your immune system is not strong, you will get sick. However, most of the people, once they get sick and then you give them medicines, the immune system becomes stronger because now it has learned how to fight the disease. So it's very rare. It's very rare where people, once after they get sick again. It's as simple as, see, don't have this COVID virus and all that. Very simple. You have fever or you have cough or cold. You get sick. But after you take medicines, you get well again because now your immune system has improved its defenses to protect you. So it's very rare. These are the exceptional rules or very rare cases where they get sick and they get well and they get sick again. I can literally challenge you. Google search and you'll find maybe 1 in billions. Okay. So unless your immune system is really weak, you'll not get sick again. The next one is Soham asks, what's your opinion regarding Gumnaami movie Neta Subhash Chandra Bose? I have no fucking idea. I've not seen it. I have no fucking idea. I don't know. Is it really that good or something? Anyway, put some links so at least I can know if it is good. If it's an Amir Khan type movie like Dangal, fine, I don't mind. If it's some crappy fuck shit, don't bother. Next question by Superfan, 21, Mangalore, 21-year-old. How were you as a young man? How was I as a young man? As a young man, Loy Machedo was a fucking idiot, egoistic prick, defensive moron, attention-seeking idiot, impulsive to the core, absolutely crazy about girls. Girls was my fucking weakness, and I was not at all consistent. So as a young man, I was a disaster. In fact, I was so bad that if my daughter accidentally finds me when I'm young, I would tell her, no fucking way, absolutely no way. I was that bad. Okay, next question by Superfan21 from Mangalore. Did you really not have any friends as a young man? Yes, I didn't have friends as a young man because I was not liked. I was very irritating. I was very stupid. My parents would never allow me to go out. So when you don't go out frequently, don't hang around with people, how can you have any friends? So I was never popular. I was never likable. Yes, girls did like me, but that was a different thing. That was just for romantic stuff. Okay. And then he says, considering you're good at talking, why didn't you have any friends? Because talking doesn't make good friends. It's your ability to be a good listener. It's your ability to have empathy. Neither of them which I had. Okay. So then Superfan21 Mangalore asks, what were your first few jobs? How did you find it? How was the experience? My first few jobs, when I was young, I would just like the part which I've not mentioned is I used to do this summertime jobs selling insurance, selling stuff, going to the church, selling lottery tickets. You know, they would have this Sambola bingo lottery tickets. Then I think the first official job was where I ran away from home. I worked as a bellboy. Bellboy is you stand outside the hotel door and you open the door and close the door, pick up people's luggage when they come in. As a toilet cleaner, you know, cleaning toilets and cleaning, just not that it's not like full of shit and all that, but just cleanliness, general cleanliness. It was a clean place. Dishwashing. I was a dishwasher as a cook. And then I was a waiter. So I've done practically all these crazy jobs. And how were they? They were just normal menial jobs. They were nothing great. It was not like, even in Dublin, Ireland, I was domestic engineer, cleaning toilets, cleaning storehouses, keeping things in boxes, delivery stuff and all that. So how do you find them? I found them by asking people, asking around, and eventually I get a job. So how was the experience? Normal, nothing great. I enjoyed what I did because I was just carefree, man. I just wanted the experience. I wanted the little bit of pocket money. I was pretty happy. So it's nothing great. I would just say that I was just having fun. That's all I can tell you. So I hope this helps. Last question by Superfan21 Mangalore. Why don't you relaunch askloymachedo.com? In case you guys do not know, askloymachedo.com was a website where, just like Quora, where you can ask me any questions and I would answer. The reason I discontinued that is because I was only getting questions from kids. It's like questions on fapping, that is masturbation. My girlfriend loved me. I love this guy. What advice would you give? All childish questions. A total waste of time. It's like after some time, I just got fed up. And the funny thing is, there were some of them youngsters who just kept asking same questions, or every day they would ask, just for the sake of asking. So eventually I realized this was not serving any purpose. Okay, so I stopped. Next question by Evel. I think I'll just answer a few more questions. How many more minutes? 20 more minutes or 15, and then I'll call it a day. Iced tea with lemon. So the question by Evel. Evel says, question. Sir, how to remove tension when son or daughter fails and is detained in the same class. Now, I have no idea whether you're asking me this as a parent or as a child. So, if you're the parent and your son or daughter has failed, I would say you need to have a conversation with your child. You need to evaluate your child. You need to seek professional help and decide what's next. Because if the child is failing, means the child is not interested or the child doesn't want to study. In majority of the cases, the child has the intelligence but not the interest, and that comes down to upbringing. So if the upbringing is bad, you're not doing your job properly. So I suggest that's what you need to focus on. However, if you're a child, then you have a much bigger challenge, because uh, how do you lecture or how do you convince the parent to change themselves or change their life or change the way they're treating you? So as a child, I think it would be an uphill battle. You would have to communicate with your parents, you would have to convince them, and you'd have to seek an avenue whereby instead of memorization, that is studying, you do something where you're actually working and gaining some skill. But remember this, end of the day, without education or without even that paper from school, nobody's going to entertain you, at least in the first few years of your life, unless, of course, you have some skill, which is so amazing that people will entertain you. And remember, if you have an Asian passport, you're absolutely fucked, because in the West, fine, you can be a plumber, you can be there are so many other options that they offer, and you get visa on arrival, so you don't have to worry even about migrating to another country. But if you're Asian, they would ask for a high educational background or degree or paper or money. So I hope you sort this out. So I don't know whether you're a parent or whether you're a child. I hope I've answered this. Next question. Sir, what do you do when you're jobless, like in the Gulf? Once you were above 40, think we were old. I don't know what the fuck. Okay, your question didn't make sense, but I assume that you're saying, what did I do when I was without a job in the Middle East at the age of 40 in Dubai, UAE? Well, I've documented this in my video, 2011 Loy Machedo suicide, where I did show that after being sent off to India, I went back to UAE and I got myself a job. But the job that I got was, I did it through references and contacts, because by that time I'd stayed in UAE for 30 plus years. So I did know a couple of people, and someone or another would offer me odd jobs, not actual real jobs. But it was very tough. I'll tell you, really tough. And the most important thing is I didn't want to work as an employee anymore. I didn't have the interest. So I took up a job as a driver for a pickup. This is at the age of 36, okay? 36 in Dubai, which is hardly, I think, 7-8 years ago. I took up a job as a driver for a pickup, doing a few deliveries here and there. I took up a job as a customer coordinator. I took up a job as, events coordinator. I took up just about any job, even standing as a security, even a supermarket, doing giveaways. And slowly I got back into groove because of my tattoos. So obviously people wanted me to do, attention grabbing stuff, being on stage and interacting with people. I had public speaking skills. I had skills on the mic, so I could use that. So that's how I did it. Like I tell people, when your back is against the wall, do whatever it takes to survive and succeed. Okay. Last question by Avil. He says, "Sir, are you happy in Thailand?" Well, I'd say I'm content. Content means it's good. It's not bad. Um, the ideal life would be having $1 billion in the bank. Then I would be ultra happy. But Thailand, I'm grateful for the blessings that I have, and I think it's a very peaceful place. I can do whatever I like. Nobody's disturbing me. It's like, what more can you ask? It's a perfect life for me because I'm able to work, make money, earn, be with my family. What more can you ask? Okay. Next question by Sheikh Abdul Rahman. Sheikh. Okay, good to know I have a Sheikh. Sheikh Abdul Rahman, 29 from Bangalore. So his question is, I want to ask you, if tomorrow never comes, my tomorrow never comes. My tomorrow, can you motivate me in your style? You are free to use any words. I will take your words from my big brother. Thank you. So he considers me big brother. Okay, big brother is that TV show, right? Okay. So if tomorrow never comes, here's the thing, okay? I always tell people, like, live as if, live for the day as if there's no tomorrow. But being mindful that you will be awake tomorrow, that you would have to get up tomorrow. So don't live your life so crazy today that you would absolutely regret tomorrow. So what I'm trying to tell you is, um, you need to be mindful of how you live your life, okay? Um, and here's the thing. You are saying, can you motivate me in your style? Don't seek external motivation. Never ever seek external motivation. I do not look at anybody and say, wow, I want to be like this. Wow, no. Yes, it does feel nice seeing someone who has six-pack abs and you say, okay, I want to be like that. Fine. I can understand that. But looking at somebody else and having the driving force, it's like you trying to live someone else's life. Don't do that. I would rather tell you, look internally. Ask yourself, what makes you happy? See, if I were to see externally, there are people who are with much hot and beautiful women, people with really expensive cars, with the best luxury, people with amazing houses that have amazing facilities. It's like, when you go to a supermarket and you don't have a shopping list and you see each and everything and you see special offers, you end up buying what you don't need. But on the other hand, if you sit at home and ask yourself, what do I need? You only end up buying only what you need. But when you go for a sale, you look at things and you end up buying what you don't want. So in the same way, when you see other people's lives, you might end up asking, wanting, or dreaming for things that don't make you happy. So I would say that don't look at my life. Rather look into yourself and ask yourself, what makes you happy? What truly makes you happy if all this was not there? And I'll tell you, it'll come down to a very few simple, basic things that will make you happy. And you'd be so much more happier and so much more fulfilled, where you don't compare your life to anyone else and you don't see anyone else's life. Okay? So I hope this answers your question, guys. I think I'll call it a day with this. So this was episode number 3. I still have, how many more questions? I still have a couple of more questions that have been asked to me. And so I'll do that next time. So I hope this, gave you some value. Do like the video if you feel it added some value. Put your comments down below. And this is me signing off for now. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.